Good morning, students. This is KG Mishra. Again, I have come with the next topic of class 12 physics. Okay, the chapter is that same, that is electric potential and capacitance. Okay, and in the last class, we were doing that how the parameters get affected. Parameters means the charge, potential, capacitance, energy stored in the capacitor. Okay, when dielectric slab is inserted between the plates. Okay, so there were two cases. First was that the capacitor is charged by connecting to a battery, and then it is disconnected, and then we are inserting the dielectric slab. Okay, then how this charge changes. Okay, how the potential changes, how this capacitance gets affected. Okay, how this potential energy gets affected, that already we have discussed in the last class. Okay, now see, the second part was left. Okay, that we will do here. Okay, so see, the second part is that effect of dielectric when battery remains connected across the capacitor. Okay, so battery is connected, it is intact with the capacitor, it is connected. Okay, and then we are going to put the dielectric slab. Now see, before we are putting dielectric slab, what is there? See, its plate area is A, separation is D, electric field inside it is E naught. Okay, and the charge is Q naught. So can we write this expression? Q naught is equals to C naught V naught, where V naught is the potential difference across the plates. Okay, C naught is the capacitance when only air is there between the plates. Okay, or free space is there between the plates. Okay, now potential is V naught, electric field is E naught. So in this way they are related. Now what is the energy, potential energy? It is, we are writing U naught because the medium is free space. So half C naught V naught square. Okay, now after this we are going to insert a dielectric slab of dielectric constant K between the plates. Here we have introduced a dielectric slab of dielectric constant K. As soon as we have introduced it, what will happen? First thing, it is still connected to the battery. As it is still connected to the battery, whatever the potential difference the battery is applying, that is V naught. Okay, thus what will happen? As we are inserting this dielectric slab, here this negative charges will appear due to polarization. Here positive charges will appear, and those negative and positive charges will reduce the charge on these plates, reduce the effective charge on these plates, I should say. Okay, when the effective charge is reduced, then what will happen? Obviously the capacitor becomes capable of holding more charge at the, okay, or we can say that it can take more charge, it takes more charge, and when it takes more charge, still the potential difference between the plates becomes equal to the potential difference of the source battery. Okay, that means again we will find what potential difference between the plates is V naught. Okay, that means it is not going to change. Got it? So first thing, potential difference remains unchanged. Note it down. Write these things first. Okay, written the heading, draw the diagram. Drawn. Okay, now write the first point. Potential difference remains unchanged, that is V naught. Second point, the electric field also remains unchanged. Second point, the electric field also remains unchanged. Why? Because see, from this equation we know E dot D is equals to V naught. This implies that E dot is equals to V naught by D. Earlier also it was this much only. E dot is equals to V naught by D was there. So that means no change. Now third thing, what I have told you earlier, just in the beginning, that as this is inserted, the effective charge on the plates decreases, and so more charge moves from the battery to this to maintain the same potential difference as that of battery or source battery. Okay, so that means charge increases. So charge increases from Q naught to suppose Q. Now how can we find a relation? See, actually Q is equal to K times Q naught. So it will depend on the dielectric constant of the dielectric. Okay, and the charge becomes K times dielectric constant times the initial charge. Okay, note it down. Just note down all of you. Okay, now The fourth thing is capacitance. How the capacitance will change. So for that I should drop this. We know very well Q is equal to CV. Okay. Now Q is what? It is K Q naught. C is this one. V is V naught, because V is not changing. So what will get C? C is equal to, you will get K Q naught by V naught. Okay. Now, but see, initially what was the capacitance? Initially the capacitance, see, initial situation was this one. Q naught is equal to C naught V naught. So C naught was how much? It was Q naught by V naught. Okay. So this is the value of C naught. So can we write here also this is C naught? Okay. So can we write this C is equals to K C naught? That means capacitance also increased by K times. Okay. This is our fourth point, no? Capacitance also increases by K times. Okay. Capacitance also increases by K times. Written? Yes. Okay. Now next is the term of potential energy. Okay. Once you are aware of this capacitance and the potential, energy is very easily find out. Energy is how much? To see. Energy is, suppose it is U is equals to half C V square. What was earlier? Earlier it was U naught is equals to half C naught V naught square. This was there. You might remember it. Okay. Okay. Half C is how much? It is K times C naught. Okay. V is how much? It is V naught only. So what we can write from here? Can we take this K out? We will have half C naught V naught square. Now just tell me, what is this half C naught V naught square? Is same. So can we write it? K U naught. That means the potential energy will change by K times. Okay. The potential energy will increase by K times. Okay. Or it become K times. Okay. That is better. Okay, right? Potential energy becomes K times or dielectric constant times. Okay. Understood? Note it down. Okay. Take up a question. Okay. See, this is a parallel plate capacitor. This is one plate which is connected to point A, and this is another plate which is connected to point B. Okay. One plate is connected to point A, and that is connected to point B. Now, between plate area is A, separation is D. Okay. And now, inside the plate, no? So, when nothing is placed inside the plate, then what is the capacitance of the capacitor? Very easily we can say it is C naught is equals to epsilon naught A upon D. That is there. Okay. Now, what has been done? Three similar means they are identical in shape and size. Dielectric slabs are inserted like this. Okay. Now, obviously, when they are identical, then their thickness is going to d by 3, d by 3, d by 3. Okay. So now we have to find out the capacitance of this system. Okay. Now, when this type of question you are getting, no, that slabs are like this, their thickness is less, but they are covering equal area. Okay, they're having equal area that of plate, because see, plates are like this, so they are covering whole area, no. So their area is also same as that of plate. Now, when this type of situation is there, then what will happen? See, they are going to behave. They are equivalent to 3 capacitors. 1 capacitor, 2 capacitor, 3 capacitors. Okay. Let its capacitance is C1, its C2, and its C3. Okay. Now we have to find out the capacitance of each of them. We know that when the space between the plates is completely filled with dielectric, then what is the expression for its capacitance? Suppose this was the capacitance was C1. Okay, C1, its capacitance is C1. Okay. Now, what is the formula for C1? We can write. We know it is epsilon naught. Okay. Area they are covering A. This slab is covering area A. Okay, area A. Okay. What is the electric constant? It is K1. What is the width? That is d by 3. So what you will get? You will get 3 epsilon naught A K1 by d. Okay. Any doubt in this? No, because epsilon naught A K by d, that we know very well. And but d is no separation, d by 3 is separation. And K is not the electric constant, it is K1. Okay. Now for second one, what we can write? In the same way, epsilon naught A K2 d by 3. So what will you get? 3 epsilon naught A K2 by d. And similarly for third one, what you can write? C3 is equals to epsilon naught A K2 by d by 3. What will you get? You will get 3 epsilon naught A K2 by d. Okay. So we got all the three capacitances. But now you see how they appear to be connected. They are in series or parallel? They are in series. Okay. So now we need to find out the series equivalent of all these three to get the net capacitance of that arrangement. Okay. So what we will doing? We have to find out the series combination of this. Okay. Now see. Just note it down first. Noted. Okay. This is how we find out. In the case of capacitance, it is by Cs is equals to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. So what will get? It was how much? It was 3 epsilon naught A K1 by D. So 1 by 3 epsilon naught A K1 by D. Okay. Here it was 1 by 3 epsilon naught A K2 by D. Here it was 1 by 3 epsilon naught A K3 by D. Okay. Now what will happen? See, this means 1 by something means reciprocal of this. So what we can write in the next step? 1 by Cs is equals to d by 3 epsilon naught A K1 plus d by 3 epsilon naught A K2 plus d by 3 epsilon naught A K3. That's what we are getting. Okay. Now what we can take common? Obviously we can take common 1 by Cs is equals to, S means is for series small, d by 3 epsilon naught A. This we can take common. What we are left with? 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K3. That's the final result. Okay. Note it down, just noted. Okay. So in this way we got value of 1 by Cs, but we want Cs. Okay. S for series. Okay. C for capacitance in series. So we have to invert this. Okay. But can you invert this? No. Before inverting we have to take the LCM. So 1 by Cs is what? It is d by 3 epsilon naught A. Okay. Here we have to take the LCM. So we get what? K1 into K2 into K3. Okay. Now here what we will get? K2 K3. So K2 K3. Here what we will get? K1 K3. K1 K3. Here what we will get? K1 K2. K1 K2. Okay. So now we can invert this. So this implies that Cs is equals to 3 epsilon naught A. Okay. Here we can write without K1, K2, K3. And what is here? It is D. And inside the bracket we are having K2, K3 plus K1, K3 plus K1, K2. Okay. this is the result. Note it down. Final result. But this question has got two parts. Okay, this was part A only, so we have done the part A. Now part B is left. Okay, now this is the B part of that question. Okay, see, it is the same capacitor, but this time we have got the dielectric slab. Again, identical dielectric slab. Identical means identical in shape and size. Okay, 3 dielectric slabs having dielectric constant K1, K2, K3. Okay, see, they are covering, they have got the same width, and that is the equal to separation between the plates. Okay, but they are covering 1/3 area. See, because they are covering equal area, so area of each one is how much? 1/3. That is A by 3. Okay, now when you get situation like this, so see, if you suppose this is a capacitor, this is another capacitor, this is another capacitor. Okay, so what you find, suppose this is the positive charge plates, okay, of all the 3 capacitors. So see, they all are connected together, and suppose these are the negative charge plates. Okay, so they all are connected together. When it happens, obviously parallel. So that means this situation is somewhat like this. Okay, so like this. Okay, let the capacitance of this C1, this is C2, and this is C3. Okay, so can you find out the capacitance of first one? Yes, similarly, C1 is what? It is again epsilon naught. Okay, area is how much? A by 3. Okay, then dielectric constant, that is K1 by D is complete. Okay, no fraction part in D, so this 3 will come down. We will have epsilon naught A K1 by 3D. Okay, in the same way we will get the C2. Directly I can write epsilon naught A K2 by 3D. Okay, similarly I can write for C3. C3 is equals to epsilon naught A K3 by 3D. Okay, same way, only K will change, other things are similar, the area is similar, the width is similar. Okay, now these 3 capacitors are appears to be connected in parallel or series? Obviously parallel. So what we know, in parallel CP is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Simple one, no? So we can put the values. C1 is how much? You can just see. C1 is epsilon naught A K1 by 3D. Okay, epsilon naught A K1 by 3D plus epsilon naught A K2 by 3D. Okay, and then again epsilon naught A K3 by 3D. Okay, this we got. Now what else we can do? Can we take something common? Obviously epsilon naught, okay, A upon 3D, that is common. What we are left with? K1 plus K2 plus K3. That's what we are left with. Okay, float down. So this is the final capacitance of this capacitor. Okay, clear? Okay. See, our next topic is corona discharge. Okay, just note down the heading. Okay, noted. Now write the definition first. What is this? Start writing. The process by which the pointed end of of a conductor gets discharged is called corona discharge. Okay, again I am repeating. The process by which the pointed end of a conductor gets discharged is called corona discharge. Okay, now what is this? Let me explain you with the help of this diagram. See, actually, suppose you are going to give charge to a conducting body, then what we know, the charge actually they repel each other. Okay, obviously we will giving charge one type, no, either positive or negative. So if it is positive, then on the whole body it is positive charge only, no. So they will repel each other. And conductor is such a material, no, in which they can travel. They are free to travel. So they try to maintain the maximum distance. Then how they can do that? For that they reach to the outer surface of the conductor. Okay, charges don't remain, or they don't remain inside the conductor. They move out to the outer surface of the conductor. Okay, so see, you can see the charge is there at the outer surface of the conductor. Okay, now what is surface charge density? This we know very well. It is Q upon area, that is Q upon 4 pi r square. Okay, for a sphere. Now see, wherever the radius of curvature, I think you remember from class 10th, radius of curvature. So wherever the radius of curvature is large, then what will happen? Denominator is more, so surface charge density will be less. And wherever the radius of curvature is small, denominator will be smaller, so surface charge density will be larger. Now see, at the pointed ends, see, it is like this. So it is somewhat like this, no? It is somewhat like this. So you complete the sphere. You get this sort of sphere. Its radius is very small. Okay. If you take this part, okay, see, it is somewhat like this. You complete the sphere. You will get a bigger sphere, see? And its center is here. So its radius of curvature is larger, okay, than the radius of curvature of this. Okay. So obviously, here the surface charge density will be more at the pointed end. Why? Because its radius of curvature is smaller. It is least curve, no? So it is least curve. That's why. Okay. Here the surface charge density is maximum. Okay. And whereas at these places the surface charge density is lesser than that pointed part. Okay. Now this is okay. So we know that what is electric field? It is obviously sigma by epsilon naught or 2 epsilon naught, whatever you write. Okay. Now that means somewhere electric field is proportional to surface charge density. This we can write. Okay. Now once we have written this is not needed. We have written this. That means where the electric field will be strongest, near the pointed part. As the electric field is strongest near the pointed part, now what happens? This you will place in some medium. Suppose you have placed in air. Now what will happen? There are air molecules around it. Okay. And suppose you consider the air molecule present here. Okay. It will have atoms, okay, of gases, different gases. Suppose this is one atom out of that. This is the nucleus and here is the electron. Now this electron will be pulled by this, okay, due to the strong electric field here, and this electron will be pulled by the nucleus. Okay. As this electric field is very strong, so what it will do? It will pull this electron out. That means this force. This is force F, this is force small f, suppose. So as F will be greater than small f, so it will pull out this electron, and this electron will leave from here and will come and sit over here on this positive charge. So this positive charge and this electron, what they will do? They will neutralize each other. Okay. And so here the charge will disappear. Okay. And as the positive charge disappeared from here, what you will find? This will become positively charged. Why? Because it has lost the electron. Okay. And again, as the potential charge has disappeared from here, so here potential has gone 0. Here potential is higher other places. So again the charge will move to that pointed place. Okay. So what you found? The charge which was here, it has been discharged. It has been given out. Discharge means what? Given out. Okay. Or it has been not given out, we can say. Discharge means the charge is finished. Okay. It is no more charged. That means charge is balanced by opposite charge. That is called discharge. And that's what happened at the pointed end. And in return, what you got? Here, the air atom or the gaseous atom which is present in the air got positively charged. In this way, the leakage of charge, this we also call leakage of charge, keeps on taking place. Okay. And that's what we will find, the atoms of air, atoms of gases present in the air, no, they becomes charged one. And this keeps on leaking the charge unless the potential becomes very low due to the less presence of charge over it.
Okay, clear? Understood what is corona discharge? Why the discharge takes place? Why the charge gets neutralized, and how it gets neutralized? Okay. Okay.
So next heading is collecting action of a hollow conductor. Okay. Now what is this collecting action? Collecting action means it collects the charge. How it collects the charge, that we are going to discuss. Okay. See this diagram. What is there? See, with the help of this insulating suspension. Okay. Suppose a thread. Okay. Thread is, it is not conducting, it is insulating. This small spherical cell is hanging. Okay. And it is hanging such that it is concentric with this external spherical cell. Okay. Now both spherical cells are concentric. Now external spherical cell, both are conducting. External spherical cell having charge plus capital Q. Internal spherical cell having charge plus small q. The radius of internal spherical cell is small r, and the radius of external spherical cell is capital R. Okay. Now, tell me what will be the potential on the surface of external spherical cell. Okay. It will be first due to its charge itself. Okay. That is what we can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay. Capital Q by capital R, because its radius is r and it has got charge q. So this will be potential due to its charge. Now as this charge is there inside it, so due to this also there will be some potential here, and that will be how much? Obviously 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by, again capital R, because distance is capital R only from the center to its surface. So what do you get from here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, that is common. We are getting q by capital R plus q by capital R. Okay, that's what we get. And let us write it capital R. Why? Because this is the potential on the surface of the larger spherical cell. Okay, that is external spherical cell. Now, what about the potential at the surface of smaller spherical cell? Let us write by small r. Okay, so obviously first the potential due to its own charge, so that will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q upon small r. Second, we know that when there is a spherical cell and it has got charge q, so whatever potential it is having on its surface, the same potential it has inside it also. Okay, so due to this charge, what will the potential here? It will be plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Okay, again we can take common. What will get? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, that we can take common, q by small r plus capital Q by capital R. That's what we got, VR. Okay, now we can find out the potential difference. Okay, so we have to find out now the potential difference. Okay, so just note it down this much first. Noted? Okay. Now see, potential difference VR minus V capital R. This is the value of VR small r, minus this is the value of V capital R. Okay, so we want to find out the potential difference, so we have to subtract the potentials. Okay, now what we can take common? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, okay, now we have taken common, so we are left with q by r plus capital Q by capital R. This minus sign is there, this will become minus q by capital R. This will also become minus q by capital R. Okay, now these two cancels out. What is left? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r minus q by capital R. This is our VR minus V capital R. That is potential difference between the two cells.
what do you find? Whose potential is more in this case? Obviously, Q by small r is more than Q by capital R, because here capital R is larger than small r. So this value will lesser, this value is more. So we are going to get positive. Is there, can you find here capital Q at all? No. That means whatever charge is there at the external surface of the external sphere doesn't matter. The potential difference always will be due to the charge present on the internal spherical cell or smaller spherical cell. Okay, and as this potential is coming positive, potential difference is coming positive, that means it is at the higher potential. The smaller spherical cell is at the higher potential, because we have found out Vr minus V capital R. Okay, so obviously its potential, it is at higher potential. So what will happen? If you are going to connect it through a conductor, the charge will flow from where to where? Obviously, the charge will flow from the inner spherical cell to the outer spherical cell. Until when it will flow? Till the whole charge of this inner spherical cell goes to the outer spherical cell, reaches to the outer spherical cell. Because only then the potential difference will become zero. Why? Because whatever charge is there, due to that, the same potential is already there inside. So if there is even a small charge also, then that will add up to its potential, no? Inner potential of the inner spherical cell, and that's why whole charge will flow out. Only then the potential will become same throughout. Okay, and so only then the flow will stop. Clear? So this flow of charge from the inner spherical cell to the outer spherical cell is called collecting action of hollow conductor. Okay, the external spherical cell is collecting the charge. Clear? So noted this much. Okay, now from here start writing. As there is no capital Q in this expression, so it indicates that the potential difference between the two spherical cells is independent of charge on the outer spherical cell, full stop. This also indicates that potential of the inner spherical cell is higher than outer spherical cell. Full stop. Thus, when they are connected through a conductor, then charge starts flowing from inner cell to the outer cell, and it continues till whole charge of the inner cell is transferred to the outer spherical cell. Full stop. This action is known as collecting action of a hollow conductor. Okay.
Okay, students. So in the next class we will be doing the Venn diagram generator. Although it is not in your CBSE syllabus, okay, but we will do it, okay, for the knowledge. And in that Venn diagram generator, we will require these two concepts: corona discharge and collecting action of hollow spherical conductor. Okay. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye. Keep on studying. Okay.